So, hello there. If you're watching on playback, just wait for a couple of minutes because, of course, I'm going to wait for people to log in and start commenting and saying hello to me. Since, of course, I am going live without notifying anyone about this live stream. I am currently cooking some food, so I might not be Hello, I hope you're doing well. This is Crystal Racing. Kevin Magnussen has indeed departed Haas. Only announced this week, with of course Ollie Bearden joining Haas for next season. So I think it is pretty simple. My prediction is that Esteban Ocon will be replacing Magnussen for next season, since of course Ocon announced last month that he would leave Alpine. And I don't know if, I hope you're having a good day. It's not a big surprise to news. Magnussen has been very much consistently outpaced by Hulkenberg all season long. Hello there, Sargeant. Going on a trip in our favourite rocket ship, Zubi. Okay, I don't know what song you're singing about there, but I hope you're having a great day, Sargeant. Kevin Magnussen is not going to be at Haas next season, but he did say that he is in talks with other teams, so I can only presume he's in talks with the likes of Williams, Sauber, maybe Alpine. Of course, he used to drive for Alpine back in, what was it, 2016, when they were called Renault. Remember his bright yellow banana race suit? Yeah. Thanks to, of course, back then, Renault having a bright yellow colour scheme. Those were the days, folks. Gotta say it. The Renault paint scheme they had between 2017 and 2020 was really nice to look at. I have to say, the grid looks a bit duller without the bright yellow on the grid. Claps hands twice. Thank you very much, Mr. Rivera. But, of course, please put in the comments below, who will take pole position here at Hungary? Of course, I think I only had a brief glance at practice results. I think it was the Red Bulls or the McLarens that were fastest. Of course, I think today's practice sessions were delayed slightly thanks to heavy rain. Of course, for some reason, in recent years, rain has become more of a factor around the Hungaroring than it was right up until 2006. Like, did you know between 1986 and 2006, there was not a single wet race at Hungary? It was only when Jenson Button won there for the first time that he finally had a wet race, which I find beyond remarkable. Of course, yes, Kevin Magnussen finishing second at his debut Grand Prix Australia. Of course, he finished third on the road, but thanks to a naughty honey badger getting given a penalty for over exceeding fuel usage, he was given second place, since of course Ricciardo had actually originally finished second at what was his first ever race for the Red Bull team. Of course, Jenson Button would also go on to clinch what would actually be his final podium, albeit it was a phantom podium due to the fact he finished fourth on the road, which is a very strange way to pick up your final podium. Yeah, very, very odd, wasn't it? Of course, Kimi Räikkönen's final podium was at the 2018 Brazilian Grand Prix, where, of course, he didn't even join in the dancing with the Samba girls. Sebastian Vettel's final podium in Formula 1 was actually the 2021 Baku Grand Prix, but of course, he did get to stand on the podium one more time at, was it, Hungary later that year, but of course, he too got disqualified, so, I mean, it's kind of like the pole reverse of the button, like, what didn't look like a podium for Jensen actually was a podium for JB, was what appeared to be a podium for Vettel was not actually a podium either, because of course his car was underweight. A very bad oversight for Aston Martin, and of course, I think a lot of Sebastian Vettel fans have been arguing that, you know, a lot of the reason why Aston Martin started 2023 well was because they had Vettel helping them out with technical development, and now that Alonso is there trying to develop the car, but he can't do it because he's Alonso. And then, of course, we have to take into account the fact that, of course, Kevin Magnussen, where will Kevin Magnussen go? Williams, Sauber, Alpine? I don't see a lot of options left, but to be honest, it's really a bit, I mean, with other options on the grid, like Jack Dowen, Carlos Sainz, I don't know, maybe Theo Porcher. I'm not really that positive about Kevin Magnussen's future. Who was... Oh, right, are you talking about Vettel again? Yeah, Vettel's last top 5 finish was just before... Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Vettel ended his career very well, I will say, despite not getting a podium in his final season. And, of course, he could have got a podium at Coulter in his final race there, but of course, thanks to a terrible pit stop by the Aston boys, he did not stand a chance. So a bit unfortunate, but I know I could tell Vettel would love to come back to Formula 1, but the problem is, I think he's just simply not got the stamina for the workload required to be in F1 anymore, and I think he values his time with his family a lot more than being around the sport, which is understandable. Of course, not two people watching. Of course, I have a poll down below. Of course, I think we will get round to talking about the free practice results. I didn't watch it because, to be honest, I mean, after watching so much football for the past month, I'm not being exactly too much in the mood for live streaming, and of course, I've heard stories that Sergio Perez's seat is on the threat. I mean, it's got to be on the threat because, my God, Perez, are you having a bubble? Are you having a laugh? Like, there's no way in hell this guy can survive at Red Bull for next season. Like, I mean, I would rather have Kevin Magnussen or Grosjean in his seat than him at this point. It's beyond comically bad. It's like, dude, I know people have criticised Bottas, Ricciardo, Kimi Räikkönen for their performances in recent years, but Sergio Perez is taking the biscuit. He's taking the biscuit. It's not good enough. So please put more comments down below if you're watching. Say hello to the channel. If you've never commented before, please introduce yourself. This is, just so you know, I will not ram you off the road like Max Verstappen likes to do when he's angry or commit domestic abuse like his dad. Yeah, so Kevin Magnussen, what an unfortunate set of circumstances. Where are Haas in the Constructors' Championship? I think Williams are 9th, Sauber at 10th, of course, because it's gold 0 points. I think Alpine have jumped into 7th, so Haas are now down to 8th place. I don't know how much that is down to Kevin Magnussen struggling. It's not like, I mean, in the previous race, he had a problem with his tyres. He was using all the spec parts. I know Hulkenberg had a very impressive race where he finished 6th, but I think obviously Kevin Magnussen is very much the number 2 driver at Haas now, and it does seem like Esteban Ocon will be replacing Magnussen next season. Whether Magnussen has a viable future in the sport, I don't know. I really don't know. I hope, I mean, being a driver that I've liked quite a lot over the past decade or so, I know he's a bit of a rough driver, but you gotta appreciate Magnussen when he does really well, like getting pole at Interlagos 2 years ago. You know, when he's on it, when he's on form, when he's driving well, Kevin Magnussen is actually a driver you should keep your eye on. But unfortunately, he's just not been consistent enough, and I think that's ultimately what makes the difference between the best drivers and the average drivers in Formula 1, in that the best drivers are always good almost every race. Like Hulkenberg, like Hamilton, Verstappen, you name it. I just, obviously, consistency has been a major problem in Magnussen's career, just like Grosjean. Has anyone voted? Who's going to get pole? Leclerc. Someone thinks Leclerc will get pole tomorrow. It's a very nice sunny day where I live, so it's probably the reason why I've not been able to get many people watch my live streams recently, because it is the summer now. Of course, I think in the winter I will get considerably more views because everyone will be tucked inside. Oh yeah, crazy career, crazy person. I mean, he's very much a streets will not forget type of driver, but of course, those sort of drivers never really last long enough to have a sustainable career. And thank you for the like. Thank you very much. It keeps this channel going. I mean, I don't know what to say, to be honest. I think I need to maybe go on YouTube and look at some of the results so I can comment on a few drivers. Of course, the K-Mag deal is leaving at the end of the season, obviously. He will continue in the seat until the end of this season. Don't worry about it. He is not leaving ASAP. Things are not that bad, but I absolutely, definitely believe, 99% certain, that I think Esteban Ocon will replace Kevin Magnussen for next season at Haas F1. I think a lot of the rumours have been pointing that direction. I mean, it's like, you know, Magnussen's going to be 32 at the end of the year. Ocon's going to be 28 years old, and I think Ocon would probably make a decent team leader at Haas, since, of course, I don't think Ollie Behrman is going to be ready to lead that team at all for the next 2 years, for the first 2 years he's there. Now, Ollie Behrman is a future talent, but obviously I think the reason why Haas have signed Ollie Behrman is because no one really values Formula 2 as like a reliable guide of how good a young driver is anymore. It's like they just don't, because of all the mechanical failures with Mecha, the Renault company struggling to keep those engines reliable. So everyone's just like, nah, who cares about what a young kid achieves in Formula 2, because it's such an unreliable barometer of driver talent. Who do I think is getting pole? Oh, I don't know, George Russell. I think George Russell's going to get pole tomorrow, because Red Bull no longer have the outright fastest car on the grid, so it's all up for grabs. Maybe Lewis Hamilton, but of course we have to realise Lewis Hamilton's pole position here was more of a, well, more of a case of Lewis Hamilton hooking up his 3 sectors really well, rather than being the outright fastest driver over the actual qualifying session last year due to the fact that Max made a mistake on his final lap. But I have to say, Lewis Hamilton's qualifying pace has definitely gone at this point, and I think Mercedes might actually have the fastest car on the grid again after, I mean, struggling so much for now the past 2 years or so in the sport. So, yeah, Max couldn't beat it. I mean, that is a real problem. Like, on a green, drying track, Red Bull do not have the raw pace, and they are relying a lot on Max Verstappen to really get an extra 0.2 of a second out of that RB20. It's just sort of kind of been a bit weird this week because obviously there's been no football to watch, of course. Instead, all I've been able to do is just sit there and wonder what the hell England what they're going to do with, of course, Mr. Southgate out of the job, having decided he's had enough. But of course, I'm not here to talk about football. I'm here to talk about the Formula One. If there's any unbeatable record left, there is Hamilton's pole record. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see. I think, honestly, I think Max might get Lewis's win record, but I don't think he'll get the pole record because, of course, Max Verstappen's main strengths do not lie in qualifying. There is no way in hell you can be sitting here telling me that Max Verstappen is an expert qualifier. And he saw, you know, Ayrton said Sebastian Vettel, and to some extent, Michael Schumacher are better qualifiers than Max Verstappen, and I would also probably throw Lewis Hamilton in there as well. Hell, I would go as far as to say Kimi Raikkonen, when he was like 25 years old, was a better qualifier than Max Verstappen, but that's just me. So yeah, I think obviously. And as for Leclerc, well, he's stuck at Ferrari. You never know what you're going to get with Ferrari. They're like a pick and mix chocolate box with Ferrari. 1 week, they're absolutely amazing. They're getting 1-2s in qualifying in the race. And then the next week, they're failing to score a point. And both drivers are having all sorts of shenanigans and issues. Yeah, I think Charles Leclerc will definitely take pole positions away from Max Verstappen. You're absolutely correct. But having said that, Max Verstappen is also the reason why Charles Leclerc probably won't get anywhere near Lewis Hamilton's pole record. They're probably going to be like in the business of pinching pole positions away from each other throughout their careers, I'm afraid. It's sort of like... I'm looking at, was it free practice 1 on Sky Sports? Of course, I think Charles Leclerc set a 1:19.00. Oh, and then he had his time beaten by Carlos Sainz. So Ferrari were actually very quick after the track dried out due to, of course, we had a huge downpour of rain this morning here at Hungary, surprisingly enough. Doesn't tend to rain a lot in Hungary, but when it rained, it absolutely drenches the circuit with water, and of course there was absolutely no grip, no residual grip for the drivers to cling on to when they went out from FP1. If it was her wish, all the best. It reminded me of my mum cheering and going woo woo woo. Okay. I don't know what you're referring to there, but actual second fastest at FP2, funnily enough. George Russell was 4th fastest on the medium tyres, by the way. Oh yeah, Sainz was faster than Verstappen, and both of them were using soft tyres. Both McLaren would set their fastest laps on mediums in FP1. Perez was only 11th fastest using soft tyres, 7 tenths slower than Sainz. Oh dear. Oh dear, Sergio Perez, mate, you're really in trouble. Funnily enough, Fernando Alonso was down in 13th, slower than Stroll again. Oh my god, and Max was moaning about his brakes, and oh wow! Carlos Sainz had a huge off in FP2. Massive off. Oh, right, yeah, England scoring a foul, yeah. That brilliant goal by Cole Palmer, but... Oh, right, there was a red flag because of Leclerc's excursion. I think for the first part of FP2, Sergio Perez was actually on top of the timesheet, funnily enough, once there was more grip on the track. Oh, no. Oh, dear. Charles Leclerc, what a poor mistake to make. Honestly, he was so lucky that he didn't destroy the rear end of his Ferrari because, of course, I mean, an upgraded floor as well. Do they have a spare? I don't know, but I'm sorry, Charles, but you could have not only damaged the floor, but you could have also damaged the engine of the gearbox. Hugely costly error there. Definitely put a frown on Vasseurs' face. Yeah, he's going to have to use the old floor for the rest of the weekend. It's these sort of things that Charles Leclerc does that really doesn't make me rate him as much as some other people do. And now I'm watching an onboard of Zhou Guan Yu. Oh, and he also got it wrong going up the hill as well. Thankfully, he didn't hit any barriers, but that's another rookie error. I mean, he's blaming the Red Bull for getting in his way, but got to be a bit more aware than that, Joe. I mean, he was already spinning before he even saw the Red Bull. So, yeah, well, not that I rate Zhou Guan Yu. To be honest, Sergio Perez was already miles out of the way before, Zhou was even there. Mr. Speed, yeah, that's the problem with Charles Leclerc. He doesn't know how to rein it in. And then, of course, Lando Norris went fastest ahead of Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz, with Perez up to 4th place. Kevin Magnussen, guess what? Kevin Magnussen was 6th fastest in FP2. 6th fastest. Just after it was announced that he would be losing his seat for 2025. He went 6th fastest. So that's one way of trying to prove a point. Yeah, I've got to say, I really don't see Max Verstappen getting pole position tomorrow. Lando Norris is definitely in with a shout. Damn. But Ferrari have a car that bites back for 8 years now. What do you mean? What? The rear end is too twitchy? I mean, I thought the problem that Ferrari have had was more the lack of a front end, which of course affected Kimi Raikkonen a lot when he was there, especially in his first season back in 2014 when he returned to the team. I don't know if you can see that. Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz, Perez. Although Perez is still almost half a second slower, but as you can see, most of everyone in the top 10 were using medium tyres except for Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris. Interestingly enough, Piastri missed out on the top 10. A bit better pace from Albon and Alonso in there, Williams and Aston Martins. Dan Ricciardo in 8th place for RB, of course, using the medium tyres. It was the rear end fault. All right. That's a bit of a weird one because I don't think Ferrari had a problem with the rear end when Kimi was there, but I think it's more now they have a problem with the rear end now that they have Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, because those two drivers do not require a stable rear end like Kimi and especially Sebastian Vettel. Like instead, they have like a front end that really does bite well, but the rear end is horribly twitchy because I think neither Leclerc nor Sainz are that particularly bothered by a twitchy rear end like Vettel was. And if you can see, I don't know if you can see, I think I need to put my Valtteri Bottas was 11th fastest for Sauber. Sargeant 12th, just narrowly behind Albon. Albon and Alonso, who propped up the back end of the top 10. Piastri was on hard tyres, hence why he was down in 13th. Don't know what Lance Stroll was doing. I'm not sure what happened to Tsunoda. Zhou, as we know, spun off. Charles Leclerc down in 18th, thanks to that really poor spin. Pierre Gasly 16th, but of course that doesn't mean a lot. Hulkenberg down in 15th, well, of course I don't know what he was doing. I think he was probably just doing race runs or something. So yeah, so obviously you can't read 100% into those times or whatever it is. The best any team took Mercedes in their titles run other than 2021. Yeah, I know Ferrari obviously were Mercedes' main competitor between 2014 to about, not 2014, 2015 to about 2019 approximately. Not much to say, to be honest, but I mean, let's be honest, it doesn't say much about the other teams, does it? Red Bull and their problems with Renault. McLaren are struggling with Honda. Williams being Williams. Force India just not having the budget or the funding to compete. Renault spending those 5 years out and having the Jedi group control their team. And then, of course, only coming back full-time for 2016 after having sat out the previous 6 years. And let's be honest, Renault have never really looked like the same team they were back in 2006, if we're going to be truly honest. Haas, Williams, whatever. Sauber. And then, of course, we've got RB, who obviously used to be called Toro Rosso now, but AlphaTauri, who frankly I'm not even going to comment upon. There's not enough competition for this on this grid, and the hybrid regulations just made it so hard for everyone to catch up because, of course, there used to be the token system in 2014 and 15, which allowed Mercedes to maintain their advantage. Cheers, Crystal. Oh, you're going to have to duck out. Okay, you enjoy your weekend. Qualifying, yeah, Chaz is probably going to do qualifying, but of course we all know Chaz has a habit of pulling out at the last second because, I don't know, he has some serious health problems, I'm afraid, that young lad. I don't know what's going on with him. I really hope he gets to he resolves his issues, but yeah. I don't really know what else to say, so unless anyone wants to comment, I will only continue for about another 2 minutes before I sign off. 2 minutes, just say what you want, ask me anything you want, Q&A, but of course there's only one person watching because I well, I mean, it's a nice sunny day, so it's not like you want to sit in and talk to me. Q&A. Like, what should we talk about? He's Pizza Pat. Oh yeah, Gareth Southgate did a Pizza Hut advert after he missed that penalty kick to Germany at Euro 1996. I can't believe that was now 28 years ago. Crazy to think that that tournament came just 30 years after England's only tournament win. Oh yeah, Ollie Behrman had a run out in FP1. Of course, I'm not sure how quick he was, but he was pretty quick. He was only about 10 slower than Kevin Magnussen on the same soft tyres. So yeah, very promising signs for the young Briton for next season. Well, you know what they say about Ferrari? They always go fastest when it doesn't matter. I think they were fairly quick in FP2, but of course, Leclerc made that very costly error coming out of the hill. Coming out, what was it? Coming out turn 5, obviously. Just such a poor mistake from quite an experienced driver, mind you. Like, I mean, Leclerc's been in F1 since 2018, so it's like, I don't understand why does he make so many poor errors, especially now that he's 26 years old. Ask me any questions if you just joined the stream. I mean, honestly, I think George Russell is going to get pole position. I don't have a clue who's going to win the race. I mean, Max Verstappen, we all know Max Verstappen, what he's like. Kevin Magnussen is obviously leaving Haas at the end of this season. He will remain there, so don't worry. So any Kevin Magnussen fans worried about what this is like an immediate thing? No, it's not, because of course we see he's singing the car for this weekend, but yeah, Kevin Magnussen was great in 2018. He really did show up Roman Grosjean in the first half of the season, but I think the problem Kevin Magnussen always had is that his lack of qualifying speed has always been a huge prevalent issue. I mean, Roman Grosjean did out-qualify him quite often, but now that he's up against a really talented driver like Nico Hulkenberg, who's far more consistent and makes far fewer errors than Grosjean, I think sadly Magnussen's true level has been exposed because... Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I think if we have learned anything over the past 18 months, is that Nico Hulkenberg is a step above the likes of Magnussen and Grosjean, just simply better than them. And you have to realise Grosjean has continued making silly mistakes since going to IndyCar, so... Thank you for watching. I'll see you again next time here at Crystal Racing.